Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And if it's your first
Yes,
time,
sir.
thank you for coming through. We appreciate all the listeners. My name is Matt. I'm here with my co-host.
What's up, y'all? It's Jermayne.
And it's Rod, the Don Zaddy, Black Capo, Rizzy Murphy. And this is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Also, make sure to check out the Instagram at the Friends Podcast. Also, the TikTok.
Yes, sir, check us out. Check us out. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this episode. I wanted to ask y'all a question just off the jump because at work we have I like to call it a black chat. So it's a chat like with all the black people basically in the company is like in this big Microsoft Teams chat. And they post cool things in there sometime, but somebody chose violence on Thursday when they posted this. So they said one gotta go and you can never hear their voice ever again in your life. And they, chose some classic artists. So Michael
Who they
Jackson,
choose? Okay.
Prince Nelson Rogers, Luther, whatever Vandross, I don't know his middle name. They said Whitney Houston, but we're gonna make an edit because Whitney Houston is gonna go for us. But let's make an edit and just say Stevie Wonder. So let's go Michael, Prince, Stevie Wonder, Luther Vandross. You can never hear one of their voices ever again.
That's
Who y'all
tough.
choosing?
That's sick. Well, all I know for me, Prince is there for sure. Prince is not going at all.
No, I definitely feel that. I think for me, Stevie not going nowhere, but then Prince.
Yeah, Prince has got to go.
See, here's what Stevie and Prince got. They have the vocals and the musicality, like being able to play your own instruments, write the music, perform the music. So those two are super solidified for me. Like Luther, I don't know, Luther might be the one who's a little shaky. Because he was Luther, if it wasn't for other people's music, would we even really care about Luther? He was a background singer until he started going crazy on those covers.
Do you know who he was singing for back then?
He sang for a lot of people. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I feel like it was also like the time back then. Like, it was hard for black artists to really break out. Like, they had to get in the music business whatever way they could. And a lot of times it may be a cover of other people, even though you had like Heat just sitting in the tuck, just waiting for your time to shine. And when it was his time to shine, he shined. He had multiple albums. But I don't know, when I talk about Prince though, like, let's talk about overrated songs.
Hold on real quick. I did find Luther. So he sang background for David Bowie, Shaka Khan, Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, Carly Simon, Donna Summer. So he did sing backup for some heavyweights.
Heavy hitters for real. Okay. All right, interesting. Now overrated songs. Okay, get into that.
I'm probably gonna go with Purple Rain. I feel like that song's really overrated.
That's crazy.
Like, it's not a good song to me.
Did you see the Prince Super Bowl performance where he performed Purple Rain and it literally rained down on him? Like, that song is legitimately magical.
It was divine intervention. Like God was like, you know what, we're gonna make it rain for real. Like
how can you compete with that?
It don't get more perfect than that. Like, come on, like it's Prince. And another thing about Prince, one of the best guitarists ever. Up there with Jimmy and
Stop it.
all those great guitarists.
One of the best performers.
What are you
ever.
talking about?
Stage presence for days. This man danced in heels, going crazy in the splits, all of it.
Is that a flex?
Yeah.
A man dancing in the hills?
Being able to go down in the splits and come right back up. Yep. And play guitar at the same time and sing.
All Michael Jackson did was lean. Like, that nigga leaned one time. He was like, oh my God. Like, all right. I mean, the moonwalk cool. Like, it's honestly, the moonwalk might be the coldest dance move of all time. Not gonna lie. I don't know if he created the moonwalk though.
I feel like no one really imitated Prince to me.
Steve Lacy, who's huge right now.
I love Steve Lacy, but Prince not so much.
But there's no Steve Lacy without Prince.
It's impossible. Like, it's literally like, it's just like how Summer Walker just dropped that tape and she had them Erykah Badu vibes on there. I don't know if y'all heard that new Summer Walker tape, but
I heard some of it.
It was very Erykah-esque and like, yeah. And so Steve Lacy is kind of the same way. Like, he's a guitarist as well. Like, he just has that same Prince type of vibe, like androgynous, high pitched voice, all that type of shit.
I think for me it's Luther. The more I think about it, the more I think Luther's voice was beautiful. absolutely beautiful. But okay, most of Luther's hits were covers. So Endless Love, House Is Not a Home, Always and Forever. Like, I don't know. Most of his bangers were not even his
Dance with My
music.
Father Again?
No, that was him.
That's one of the ones you gonna die on that.
No, that's
hill.
not. That's not the one.
I'm sorry,
That's
I
not the
hated
one.
that song.
Okay,
I hated
I
that
was like, what?
song.
I mean, Luther got some joints like Never Too Much. Like Never Too Much, one of them ones when it ring off, it just
No,
like
that
it
is
feel
true.
great.
That is true.
Superstar, he was singing his ass off.
And
on
isn't
the
Superstar another cover? I don't know.
Is it? I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna look that up though. But honestly, it is a hard question, but I would just go based off of like if I'm gonna have a day where I listen to all people, which I do sometimes, where I'd be like, I'm gonna listen to Gucci Mane all day, I'm gonna listen to Frank Ocean all day. But I have Prince days, I have Michael Jackson days, I have Stevie Wonder days.
You ever have like an NBA
I have
YoungBoy
never
day?
have what? Yeah, what?
When you choose violence for the
That's
day?
basically every other day. Like that's really every other day when I'm not playing somebody specific is
No,
like
because I was
Young
like, I
Boy.
was gonna think, I was like, that's a
I'm not gonna lie to
nasty
you.
day. Just to play YoungBoy all day.
That's most of my days.
I'm
I'm not
sick for
gonna lie.
you.
He got so much music where me too, but he got so much different types of vibes and music. It don't even got to be no violent day. Like he got real pain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm still sick for you. It's either violence or sadness. Like, what is going on? We might need an intervention all day.
No, for real. But Young Boy, he got them joints.
I like how he can flip a switch and be like, fuck them niggas. Like,
It's kind of like it's actually really, it's kind of insane.
exactly,
Like,
it's
something wrong with
very
that,
insane. Like, he'd be like, you know what? Fuck, like he'll just turn up out of nowhere.
Talking about stop the violence. We should stop the violence, and then come back on bust a nigga head. Like,
Made a whole tape of violence. Like right after he said stop the violence.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. But yes, you were right, Jermayne. So that is a cover. That's Superstar by Luther Vandross. So with that being said, Luther, you got to go. So
I mean, I was gonna say I give him credit that like he took those covers and we forget that they're covers today. Like most of us don't even know the originals of these songs because he went so crazy on them. But yeah, in this battle, you gotta go.
2 for Luther, 1 for Prince. Okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm curious about you listening to Stevie all day. I gotta say, like, Stevie's a legend, don't get me wrong. But like, I never listened to Stevie. Ever. Like, obviously if he plays at a cookout, a reunion, I'm cool with that. But like, that is one artist, classic artist, I never go to listen to, ever.
You know, that's interesting. I think I'm a B-sides type of person. So it's like I don't be sitting there listening to like Superstition and like the hits. I like the little like deep cuts, like that's just be like random tracks on this album where it's like it's so musical, like great chord progressions, great
He ain't no Roy Ayers.
in terms of what though?
Like chord progression.
Probably not. He might not be, but I mean he's still like for a blind that nigga blind. Like what are you talking about? Like he did this shit without being able to see the keys.
And since a child, like that's the crazy part.
I just feel like Stevie never been the best at anything.
Oh.
What are we talking about? But Roy Ayers was? Like who else? Like what are we even saying right now?
But you know what I'm gonna say about Stevie? Like, I just thought about this. Stevie may be the best child star of all time.
He might be, if not Bow Wow. No, I'm just playing. Not Bow Wow.
What? It's not Michael Jackson?
I was gonna say, yeah, Michael.
That may be the real debate: is who is a better child star, Stevie or MJ?
I don't know. Soulja Boy did have a run though.
But I would give you Soulja Boy, but he was a teen. Like if he was under 14, I'd be like, okay, but like who knows what Soulja Boy was doing at 8 years old. But like Michael was like 6.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Michael. He did have the voice. Like only other person I might pick close is Usher.
But he was more teen, so that we could do a teen battle because that would be Usher, Soulja Boy,
Bow Weezy,
Chris Brown.
Yeah, Chris Brown.
Damn. Out of those, I mean,
well,
that's
the
a
new
tough
guy,
three.
Lil Tyler.
It is. You said who? Lil Tyler.
The new guy, Lil Tyler.
He's 17. Nice try. I would say 16 or under. Like, 16 or under.
Oh, Lil Wayne.
Ooh, Okay, that's a tough 4. That's a tough 4. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who I could choose. I mean, who was better at that time?
No, who's had the overall better career? Like to go, I mean, just think about it. To go from like a child star or a teenage star and to actually still be successful and considered like valid and get credited as an adult, that's tough.
Well, Chris Brown and Bow Wow were out of that conversation because they haven't had success in their music in a while. Actually,
What? Chris Brown?
Wait. You can't put Chris Brown
Whoa.
on that.
You
You
cannot
can't.
compare Chris Brown.
What are you
I'm not
talking
saying
about?
that. I'm not saying that they on the same level. I'm not
What?
saying that at all. I know we know Bow Wow.
Chris Brown has hella success.
I'm
What are you
saying like
talking about?
within the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. In the
Chris,
last 5 years, he's dropped like 3 albums,
and they
they
all
all went well.
crazy. Yeah.
Who said they went crazy?
What are you talking about? He even dropped the shit with Young
Yeah,
Thug.
if you look at the stats, they all like legitimately went crazy. Even he had the one TikTok song that was from an old album that still ended up at like #1 on the charts after being out like 3 years later. Like, who has that happen to them?
And you grouped them up with Bow Wow. You was like, okay, him and
Like
Bow
that
Wow.
was some serious
Why not? I was
disrespect.
like,
No, I'm saying
man, that's
though,
crazy.
y'all saying like it ain't take you down though. Like it ain't with you. It ain't like these. It ain't like the hits that he used to have. Like it's not. I love Chris Brown though.
Yeah, but if you
I mean, we're talking about kid artists right now. So, I mean, I don't know how you cannot pick Chris Brown in it.
and if you factor in like, yeah, those songs were very popular, but that was also pre the Rihanna incident. Without the Rihanna incident, Chris Brown would be so out of here. It would not even be
I
funny.
totally agree.
I forgot about Justin Bieber.
True.
Yeah, and Justin got slaps.
No, I mean I don't know
Yeah.
about slaps.
That's when he really had the hits when he was a kid. Baby, like that shit is diamond.
But he's like adult stuff, journals, changes, those albums. I'm not a fan of like young Justin Bieber, but like adult Justin Bieber, Matt, you look disgusted with me.
He blackfishing.
But it works. I'm not mad at it.
What's that one where he had MLK on the cover?
You said he had MLK.
He had the MLK on the cover.
I forgot he had that MLK.
Wasn't that the song he had Peaches on there too?
He did.
Was that that wasn't Journal? That was
No, that was Changes.
Changes, yeah. Out of all those people that we named, I think who had the best career? I don't know. Like I want to say Wayne because Wayne is the best rapper to me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like to go from being a child rapper where like, you know, like look at how we talk about Bow Wow, like nobody takes him serious. To be a child rapper to end up being the greatest rapper of our generation is pretty incredible.
Yeah, like for real. Like because niggas get corny as they get old because they can't take them serious as like an adult. But Lil Wayne was talking his shit as a kid though. Like he was talking about
True.
like crazy shit, like 96, and it was like, kid is like 12 talking about this crazy shit. But anyway,
You know, we're talking about artists who have like really big wide fan bases, like Justin Bieber, for an example. Like I said, I was not a fan of Justin Bieber when we were like younger, but his past couple albums, bangers. And, you know, it kind of sucks though, because an artist like Justin Bieber, I would probably never go to see live because I know it's going to be a lot of like teenagers there, like a lot of kids, and like I'm not really looking for that. Like even last weekend I was downtown and it was a weekend that Taylor Swift was in Detroit, and it was really interesting because you would see like little girls, like probably 12-year-olds in their little like Taylor Swift shirts, and 40-year-olds. And it just made me think about like, why are there no artists who do like adult only tours? Like, hey, this is going to be not even 18 and up. This is going to be a 21 and up venue. Like, you got to be a fully grown adult to come into this show, especially for like hip hop shows. I feel like I've noticed over the past couple of years, a lot of the hip hop shows that I go to, if it's like a Drake show, a Kendrick, a Cole, it's a lot of teenagers. It's like low key, less of us, like adults, like late 20s, 30s-year-olds, and it's mostly the like high school kids.
definitely probably like I would say 16 and up probably because I know I went to a show in Ann Arbor for this rapper named Cochise, and it was, we walked in. I'm 29 years old, and it was just like I'm just in there feeling like a grandfather, and like it was just so many young kids
Mm-hmm.
in there. And another thing about hip hop shows, if we talk about hip hop specifically, like it's a lot of white kids in there, which is there's no problem with that, but it's just like very interesting to see the fan base of these rappers that be talking about certain things or whatever. But
Mm-hmm. Especially when it's a bunch of white, like 15-year-olds. Like uh, you clearly enjoy the music, but I'm not sure how much you relate to the stories that are actually being told in the music.
But you know what it is though? I think it might be that angst, like teenage angst, and like how all these rappers on a rock star shit, like that was the shit back then, like Nirvana
Mm-hmm.
grunge shit, like that was the shit the young kids was into because it was edgy. It was what's the word?
Rebellious.
Rebellious. That's exactly the word. Yeah. So it's just like I think that's why these concerts tend to be younger.
That's the thing. Like, I've never really been to a concert with any young kids. I don't really know what concerts y'all go to, but I feel like it has a lot to do with your venue. Like, whatever venue you go to, typically, I don't go to venues that allow kids. So if you're at arena shows, I can see, oh, they're allowing everyone because it's a family show. Um, but typically, I'm like going to like maybe underground stuff, or they have bar and they have local artists or things like that, breweries, things of that nature. Or it'll be like just more adult type of content from the musician, so kids probably wouldn't go listen to that anyway. I'm not really listening to like a kid friendly music, I guess, like that they probably want to listen to all the time.
Kids don't listen to kid friendly music though.
Young hip hop is kid friendly. Like that's like, come
Like
on,
who?
like young hip hop, like Lil Yachty, the Lil Uzis, the Playboy Cardis, like young hip hop.
But see, I don't go to artists like that. Like I'm thinking more like the Drakes of the world, which is interesting because Drake is like what? He's gonna be like 35.
Drake is kid to adult, like old people. Like he's arena. His audience is all around the world. He's broken those standards. He's like up there with like Taylor Swift in terms of like audience. I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm going to see Don Tolliver next week. And I'll be very curious to see what type of like fan base that he brings out because it's going to be in a amphitheater space. So, like you said, it's technically an all ages show.
It's definitely not gonna be no big arena though. It's like what, the Fox or something like that, or what, Saint.
No, this is another one, but so I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's like I'm sure there are going to be a lot of like young kids. I can already like mentally prepare myself for it to be a lot of like young white high schoolers there. And it'll just be interesting because it's like I know I relate to the music, and I'm like the same age and the same age range as Don, and you'll have like people who are literally half his age there. Probably like 14-year-olds.
Hmm.
It's just I would love, like I said, just more shows of artists who are in our age range that are just tailored to us. I get why they don't do it. Like you want every dollar, and most of the people who go to shows are younger, but I don't know. I just get sick of like the kid antics. I also think it's interesting too. Like it depends on the type of artist that you're going to see. Like if you're seeing a hip hop artist, you got to almost be mentally prepared that there're going to be a lot of like young kids there. But when I go into my like R&B bag, I don't ever really experience that.
Oh yeah, amphitheaters for sure gonna have kids.
But I think that goes to what Rod's point was, where it was like the content of the music. You know what I mean? Like R&B a little bit more grown and sexy. You know what I mean? And so I think that's kids don't either they don't want to listen to that because they can probably relate. Like they can go through their love relationships, but like either they can't relate to it or they just don't want to hear shit like that. They want to hear some hype shit. You know what I mean? And I almost want to ask a little nigga like when I go to a show, like, why do you like this? Like, what is like why do
Yes.
I like this and you like this at the same time?
Yeah, like that's the question. It makes me feel like, am I trying to be like younger than I am? But then I look and I'm like, no, me and these artists are either the same age or some of them are older than me. So I don't really listen to too many artists who are like mad, mad, mad young. So
But I've heard a lot of artists talk about when they make songs, they wanted to appeal even to a younger kid as well as an adult. That's what really makes a hit. So I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah, it's universal. Like I feel like yeah, that's probably the best thing. Like to make some shit universal where everybody can relate. But I don't know. I think but then the thing is, some shows are 21 and up by default. Like if you go into like what's that the Tom Joyner cruise, like that's 21. That's
Yep.
automatically that's 35 and up. To be honest, like
Shoot, at what age do you feel like y'all are gonna start leaning towards more of that, like the Tom Joyner cruise, the Essence Fest, like the clearly adults, grown venues and spaces?
No, I was saying I've always been there. I never really went to kid shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think the Tom Joyner is like an interesting like one to pick. Like, it's something that is branded as like you said, like 35 and up. Like, we are like
like
grown.
Bluetooths, Gators, linen shirts,
Yep.
the sandals with the holes in it.
Ooh, the cookout sandals. Yep.
I've been wanting to go to Essence Fest for actually a couple of years. I just haven't made it down there, but because New Orleans is just such a beautiful place, like culturally, food,
Mm-hmm.
drinks, all that type of shit. So that could be in my near future, but I don't know about if I'm gonna ever go on that Tom Joyner shit. Like that's no.
What's that one festival in Detroit that they have in the summer? It's right by the
The
water.
Jazz Fest.
Is it? I think it's the Jazz Fest. I remember one year I went and they had like that black guy that everybody been talking about recently. We talked about him and his kid, and how you don't fuck with him.
Oh, Brian McKnight.
Yeah, Bryant McKnight was the headliner in Detroit. He did amazing, by the way. Like it was a great show, and he showed out. And yeah, I remember he did a show in Detroit, and he still got it.
I don't think I'm trying to listen to like I don't know if I would go to that, to be honest, because I heard Brian McKnight as a kid, but like it's not something that stuck with me. Like I either listen to really new music or really old music. So like
It was like a Detroit kind of food truck by the beach, jazz kind of.
it
Yeah,
might have been a jazz.
they do it every year. I don't know what exactly it's called.
I was just gonna say, I think it's interesting, like that hip hop artists, even as they age, they can still attract younger fans. Like we were talking about Wayne earlier. I don't know, he just finished up his tour, or maybe he's even still on tour, but I'm sure he was getting people who are our age, people who are, older, like closer to 40, and then even like probably young kids who like still respect him who showed up. Versus like it's interesting, I've been seeing like some of the like old emo rock bands that like were popular when we were in like middle school, like My Chemical Romance and people like that have been going on tour. But who I see who's going to those tours are like adults.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that music seeming to relate as much to like 13, 14-year-olds today. But from what I see on social media, the people who are going to those shows are, 30-year-olds.
I wonder what they do relate to, because every young kid don't listen to hip hop. Like I wonder what it is that they even fucking with. Like maybe it's new emo bands and new like shit like that.
Maybe.
But that was only a period of time where the emo hip hop or emo rock was really booming. Anyways, that was like our age range.
That was like a time
So
capsule.
yeah, it was short lived. It wasn't. It didn't live on too long.
Yeah, they could be a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know what's maybe like what's the like what's her name? Selena Gomez or some shit, or Camila Cabello. Like maybe that's the type of shit they fucking with.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I think for the moody high schoolers, middle schoolers, it's probably Billie Eilish,
Yeah, Billie Eilish, yeah.
the artsy ones.
Kid Leroy,
Yep.
like shit like that. Maybe that's what they listening to. I don't know. But so y'all don't. So like when y'all go to shows, y'all don't be trying to like jump and like mosh pit and all that. Y'all don't do that.
The last time I did was at Rolling Loud in like 2019, and I fell in the mosh pit, and I haven't gotten in the mosh pit since. I was like, yeah, I'm officially too old for this.
Damn. Yeah.
I had a good run.
Yeah, you don't want to get trampled out there. That shit. They will
Man.
not give a fuck.
It was a song too, though.
Ooh, I don't even remember.
You don't even know the artist?
I know the artist, but who it is not coming to mind right now. Oh man, it's somebody I mess with. Oh, I gotta think about it.
You was getting moshed.
The last time I mosh pit, it was at a festival in 2018. Like really mosh pit, like in that shit was like
Mm-hmm.
2018, and it was just like it was a good time. Like I just always, it's just good energy. I don't know. I kind of like it.
It is.
When we say mosh, do you mean like like pushing each other, like in
Yes.
this? Oh, so someone pushed you over, Jermaine?
Yeah. I was like the only girl in that thing. Like,
you was
knocked me over and I went flying.
you was brave. I don't know why you did
And
that.
it was like, it was in Miami, so it was like muddy. So I was like in like the mud. It was not cute. And I know like a lime green outfit. So like lime green plus mud. It was not a good equation. But I'm really sick. I can't remember like who it was.
You was out there looking like an unripe banana.
Yep. Random brown splashes
I
all over
met some
me.
nigga when it pushed you over. That's bold as hell.
That's one of the things about mosh pits. You gotta have your equilibrium, like because anything can happen. Anything can happen for real.
And it's just the awkward part of when you're trying to get up and everybody continues to like mosh around you and you're like, a little like beat up, like a little like newborn deer trying to like get your balance and people are still like bumping into you. It's like, give me a second. Damn.
Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, so that's why I do feel what you're saying about the no, let's have these 21 and up shows. But I still do like the essence of like a hype crowd where like everybody jumping, everybody like, hey, like everybody doing all that type of shit. Like I like that. I like that energy. Not every time, not at every show, but I think I'm gonna stick with these for a couple more years. I think. Other than that though, I think we exhausted that topic so we can get into the next one that we got.
So if you pay attention to, trends that are popping up on social media, especially on TikTok, one of the things that you're going to see talked about a lot these days is quiet luxury. It's really big on TikTok, and it kind of comes off the heels of things like Succession, which we know just like wrapped up its finale. Um, Also, just like kind of the times that we're in, where like the economy is a little shaky, but there's still some people who have big bank, right? And so the concept of quiet luxury is basically that people want to dress in what's called self wealth. Like you don't want to be logoed down. You don't want to look like you spent a lot of money on your clothes, but they're clothes that cost a lot of money. So it's, a Loro Piana sweater that's $700 for just a white plain like crew neck, or another one of the popular brands in this like era is called the Row. So that's having like expensive, just kind of like plain pieces, super muted colors, no prints, no logos, no none of that. It's kind of stuff where you gotta be in the know to know like, oh yeah, that outfit is actually like 3 grand that she's wearing versus the Gucci's this, Gucci's that. So it's been talked a lot about on social media. There are a lot of news articles talking about it. Um, about how more Americans are trying to be, like I said, more toned down a little bit.
I feel like most middle class and the white folks, and they've always kind of dressed toned down. Only people who really like have a toned up type of what they wear is our people for real, and that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like what we hype up because we want to be flashy. We want to show diamonds. We want to show our watches, our shoes, everything that's on us. Instead of like the stuff that's in the background, we want people to see it on us. It's like you got to show me with our people.
No, I was just gonna agree with that. Like old money has always dressed like old money, you know. I think it's really interesting to see like we're starting to see it like creep into like social media where before that was a really big thing is you wanted to, wear your really bright, loud designers. You wanted people to know what you were wearing. Even people like Kylie Jenner have started to dress super plain, like very logo free. But to your point, Rod, like I'm very curious to see like if this is going to actually take on in the Black community, especially in the hip hop community, where like it's exactly the opposite. It's like I need you to know I spent 25 bands on this Birkin bag. Like I'll be very curious to see like are we actually going to start adopting that?
I think rappers do. They dress down their day to day. Like I feel like I start seeing a lot of rappers start doing that. Like I feel I'm just gonna go to Kanye. Even his style's really dressed down. It's really kind of basic,
True.
simplistic. His designs. Um, what's another person that I can probably bring up? More of the older folk probably that probably would dress down more.
Yeah, if we talk about clothes, I feel like most rappers don't do no crazy flashy shit. Like unless you like one of the big guys like Lil Baby, Gunna, all them Young Thug, Future, they dress like in very
Yeah,
crazy.
Lil Uzi, all them,
Yeah, like they dress
Playboy.
very. I don't even want to say flamboyant. That's not the word, but like out there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It's flamboyant.
okay, maybe flamboyant. But if you look at a
I mean, Drake over there coloring his nails is flamboyant.
Yeah.
but if you look at a lot of rappers' videos, like niggas still wearing jeans and white tees. So it's like it might be a Mary jeans or some purple jeans and like a
Who's still wearing jeans and white tees? I don't see that no more.
if you look at rappers' videos, like these niggas do not be dressing for real. Like they just have on some crazy, maybe some acid wash, whatever type of jeans niggas be wearing these days, and the t-shirt. Like
And then some type of designer T-shirt
it's
usually
designer,
or
but I'm
something.
just saying it's not like a
Ain't
logo.
no regular white tee.
But it's not a logo. That's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think they made a point. Is like they'll let you know that those aren't Mary jeans. Like that's the difference. Is in the song they're gonna tell you, and that's
They're
like the
gonna have hella
opposite.
diamonds and gold or whatever.
See, now that's a different conversation right there. When it come to jewelry, I think we just always black people just been just we flashy
Yeah,
with
that's
it.
not quiet.
It's never been quiet. Like chains, watches, bracelets, earrings. You know, like them big fat ass earrings the motherfuckers used to wear. Just them bit like, why do you need a diamond that big in your ear? You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
even the Detroit Yays, like $2,000, $4,000 glasses with diamonds in them. You know what I mean? Like that's flashy shit that white people not really. They don't be looking for that. They don't be at Somerset looking for Cartiers.
I was gonna say, I think what's interesting though is like I feel like Black people we get this bad rep that like we spend a lot of money on our clothes and other communities don't. Like I'm sure you guys have seen there used to always be like these memes that would go around every so often of like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. People be like, look at their outfit, like, oh, he doesn't even wear anything expensive, and then show a picture of like a rapper who was like in Gucci or like something like that, head to toe. Like, see, we wear our money, they don't. And I think what's interesting about this trend is we're seeing like, no, those people they wear their money too. We just don't know what brand that is. Like, yeah, that might just
It's
look
way
like
more expensive than what we wear.
way more expensive. It might just look like a regular white button up and some khakis, but the outfit is multiple bands, bands on bands on
And like,
bands.
and white women shop the most. Like they're always shopping.
Okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like
It's like we trying to just blame it on black community. Like, oh, you want to go get some Cartiers, but you don't want to say the white women shop every day though.
they might. That's fine. But what are they shopping for? And I love Cartiers. I would love. Excuse me. I would love to get a pair of Cartiers. I'm not saying
They
that.
shopping for dresses that's worth the Cartiers
True.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing with this trend is like we're just getting more, I think, insight into the fact that like, oh, we think, oh, he's just wearing a plain baseball cap. Yeah, but that baseball cap is $600. Like, no, it doesn't say Supreme. We're not as familiar with the brand that it is, but it costs.
So do y'all think it'll ever get to a point in the rap slash hip hop slash even black community where it's like we gonna start doing quiet luxury where it's like, you know what, we gonna be toned down blacks, browns, grays, whites, something slight on the pants, you know what I mean? Like some slight shoes. Like is it ever gonna get to that point? Because I feel like that's just how we express ourselves sometimes, like, it's through clothes. So I don't know if we can express
Mm-hmm.
ourselves through muted colors like that.
Yeah, I feel like it just has to do with the person's personality.
Yeah.
Like most likely, like if they've always been flashy rapper, they probably not gonna really go against their image too much.
Yeah, I think Black women, particularly like women who are on social media, I think might start to adopt some of that. Like I've noticed, especially when like Sophia Richie got married, like that was her big thing, was like very, kind of understated luxury, and people ate that up. Black women have been going crazy over that. So I think you'll see maybe more of that for like Black women. But in terms of like the hip hop community, no, I think it's just too much ingrained in our culture of like, we want to be braggadocious. That's part of what we do it for.
Because when people get signed, what they want to do, go get first buy their mama a house and then get a
And get a
chain.
chain.
See, we all know that. Like that's a thing that everybody knows. Like it's a chain or a Urus or like a Bentayga or something like that, like a crazy car. So it's like, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of one of those keeping up with the Joneses types of things because little baby be at Icebox every week, and you know what I mean.
Whew.
So it's like you kind of have to buy a chain just so you can look the part. But there's other rappers like 21 Savage that said like I'm not buying that shit no more. Like Young Nudie said that like I'm not buying no fucking chain. Like for what?
I feel like it's just who they're introduced to. They're starting to meet more richer people, be around more different circles,
Yep.
and they're starting to see the way that they dress. It looks dumb around them. You be like, "Oh, that looks nice," and they're just smiling and laughing at you. The way that they dressing and everything, and the way they talking, the way they acting, they start to get
Like I
embarrassed.
got on a mink T-shirt for no reason. Like why do I have on a fucking you know what I mean? So it's just like I think that's a great point too, because it's like when you go in front of these different execs and shit like that, and they wearing a white T-shirt with a cool little cardigan or whatever the fuck, like you just look out of place. Which is I think that's okay though. Like you said, it expresses their personality. So if that's the rapper's personality, then why don't they just wear what they want to wear? You know what I mean? Don't feel embarrassed if that's what you like. Drake, I'm sure Drake wasn't embarrassed to get on that stream with them nails because he was like, I'm just expressing myself. Like I just painted my nails yellow. Like it just was what it was.
Yeah, well, I mean that's enough for the rich people. So everyone else,
Hmm.
they have to deal with leaning on side hustles, and a lot of millennials right now are leaning on um, monthly side hustles because they have to get by. So they're doing DoorDash, they're doing the Uber, they're trying to create their own business, clothing, whatever they can do on the side just to get by. And I just want to get your opinion on it. Has America kind of felt this in this regard, or like, how do we feel as being a part of that statistic and that next generation that this article is kind of talking about?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like our generation, I feel like has been sold a bad deal in a lot of different ways. Um, it's interesting. I feel like the side hustles like started off with the quote unquote like hustle culture, which I remember, I'm sure we all remember this from a couple years ago. Everything on Instagram was like hustle and grind. You got to get up and grind every day.
Hmm.
And we all felt like, okay, well, I need to have like a job, a business, a few side hustles. Like I got to use 20 of the 24 hours out of the day to be productive, to get ahead. And well, I think it's cool to want to get ahead. I think what we're finding is like a lot of people our age, like aren't doing these side hustles because they want to get ahead. You're doing it because you literally have to survive, because you're not getting paid enough in your jobs, because you're not getting, enough opportunities to get bigger roles, to get promoted, whatever. And that's where I feel like America has like done us wrong. And in addition to that, like our generation gets accused, millennials of being soft, of being lazy. But I feel like every millennial that I know at some point has had a side hustle. Like, I don't see how that makes us lazy when everybody has done something for some extra cash.
I also think it has a lot to do with inflation of the dollar, the cost of living, school, cars, housing, food. Everything's dramatically a lot more.
Yep.
And we see all these things moving up, But what you don't see moving up with that is like
Wages.
people's jobs and then wages.
Say that
And
again.
that's really the biggest issue there. It's like if you the wages and what people are being paid, it just doesn't make sense, and you keep continually raising everything else around us. So it kind of it creates this big separation. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's why you got the richer getting richer, and you got the other people getting struggling just to get by or trying to do these side hustles to live comfortably.
For sure. And the sickening part is like there are people who will, be side hustling as much as they're putting their time into their like regular jobs and they can't get ahead. And yet the people who started these companies, who founded these companies, or who invested early in these companies are the stealth wealth people that we were talking about earlier. Just making money hand over fist.
I was just looking at this article, just talking about the cost of things back in the day versus the cost now, and I think it'll just drive the point home where. So, a price of a home in the second quarter of 1972 was about $26,800.
Was that adjusted for inflation?
No, so adjusted for inflation, that is roughly 189. So 26,000, that's what it was back then. But for right now in
Mm-hmm.
today's dollars, it would be 189,000. Now the cost of a home these days, it says 440,000, which I don't know if that can't be median, but it just goes to show that like $26,000 to what we're paying right now for, like, you can't find nothing under 200,000 right now. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that,
and think about it. If they bought the property, they bought the homes back then. They're making
hmm
payments. In today's, they paid that off by now.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like like all these older people, they paid all that shit off. Like that shit was cheap. Like compared to today's money, like
Because too, let's say, okay, like you said, it was 189,000 adjusted for inflation. Let's say you bought that home, you were able to have a job that allowed you to buy that home at 25. You had a 30-year mortgage, you're done paying it off at 55. And that house has probably gone up significantly in value. It probably started at 189 and now shoot, it could be close to 300,000 versus like you said, a lot of us to start off buying a house, you need at least 300,000 depending on where you live.
it's like buying stock back then. Like if you bought some shit, you own some shit back in the day, your family's kind of up right now. Like because of just the value of everything is just so inflated.
1,000%. And that's one of the things where it's like, they talk about, damn, we can't, the main point of the whole game of life.
We didn't own anything like as black people. A lot of families. So
Exactly.
that's really the big
Or if
problem.
we own something, it wasn't in the neighborhood where it's like, oh, the property values is going
I was
super
gonna say,
crazy.
Are we renting and shit?
yep.
So it's like, and I think the whole point of this game of America, if you will, is to build wealth. And it's hard to build wealth when you're getting shut out because prices is too high, and the fact that people back then was paying $26,000 for a house, paid it off, and now they can sell it for $300,000. So it's like,
And I feel like I guarantee that inflation when we get older is not gonna go up by that much. It's not gonna go from I paid 26,000 to it to be 189,000 today. Like if we pay like our value 189,000, gonna like if you think about it, that'd be like $1 million or something. Like
Yeah.
the value is not gonna go up that much. Like ours is gonna be a lot smaller percentage change when in our
you
future.
think so?
Like their value is ridiculous. Like how much they boosted everything up. I mean, if you think about it,
Back then they might have said that like, damn, it could never go up to 189,000, and like here we
I
are.
mean, just think about that. Then increase the wages a lot from now,
They haven't done it
and
yet.
it's just like that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think like it just wouldn't do that. Like it wouldn't be inflated that much, like so far out of range of what they're paying us.
I see what you're saying. Like if the median home price becomes $1 million, like then that would mean a lot of people need to be millionaires or be making close to that to be able to afford homes and like or making half a
Yeah,
million dollars a year and they're not gonna create that society.
our average wage would be pretty much times four, like probably
I mean, from inflate
4 or 5, well more,
from
whatever.
inflation, maybe it should be. It should be more than, what is minimum wage right now? $15. Like maybe it should be 25.
In some
I don't
places,
even
yeah.
Yeah, let's look it up. I think it's even less than that. I think 15 is like when you're making pretty good money.
Because 15, maybe in like
In some
California.
states, it's required
Yeah,
though.
like California, I think
They,
has 15.
they pass laws in some states. Yeah.
Yeah, in Michigan, the minimum wage is $10.10. Um, the federal rate is
Right.
$7.25.
Yeah. And I think it's been 7.25 for a very long time. I think before it was like
Yeah,
6.50 or something, like not too
it's
long ago.
crazy.
And so yeah, so like that speaks to why people have to have these side hustles. I mean, so if you got to go Uber, got to go deliver some food, deliver packages for Amazon. People doing hair on the side, doing nails on the side. Like these are things that we have to do. Power washing driveways,
Yep.
Hmm.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. You know what I mean? So like these are the type.
I hear about a lot of teachers doing that.
Yeah. So it's like these are things that we have to do to survive. And it's like if y'all not gonna pay us the wages that we need to survive, then shit, we gonna do this.
Yeah, I saw this story. Speaking of teachers on PBS, this woman was talking about how she became a teacher because she watched her dad be a guidance counselor. And he was a guidance counselor his whole career, loved his job, and he made enough for their family of 5 to live on that one income. And so she became a teacher, and she's 30 and has to leave teaching because she's like, it's just too hard. Like, it's too hard to do it. We're too understaffed, too underserviced, under resourced, underpaid. And it's like, you're taking like good careers that people like her dad used to do for a lifetime and be able to like easily live off that, raise a family off of that. And now it's hard to be a single person on a teacher's salary. Like, the wage stagnation is
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Teachers are very underpaid. Like when I hear those numbers, I'm like, damn. Like the number did not go up with inflation. That's the problem.
Uh,
Like,
Most wages haven't.
wow.
Like most wages have stagnant. And I ain't gonna say been stagnant, but they have not progressed at the same time in the same rate as inflation. And so that's the main problem.
Like I don't really know why would you even want to be a kid teacher or like at that level knowing you wasn't gonna make that much money. Like I don't get it. Like you gotta go the professor route or something.
Well, people do it because they love it, they're passionate about it, but it's sick that you can love something and not feel like you're not going to get paid enough doing it, and that there's nothing that you can do. It's not like, okay, well, I can just work harder to make up the difference. It's like, no, this is what the school district, the school system has decided to pay you, and that's it. You could be the greatest teacher in the world. You're still only going to
Yeah.
get paid a certain amount.
And you can only really get promoted to like the principal or vice principal. Like you can't really get too many promotions. I mean, or I know like Rob was saying, like being a college professor, like that's more money. But
But that's also more education. You got to go back to
You would
school.
think they would strike.
They do in some cities. I know like Arizona is one place where like they have a shortage of teachers. So they've done strikes. They had to literally, it's really funny. They created like teacher housing to like incentivize people to move there to be teachers. So they like built up apartments for people
mm.
instead of just paying them more. It's like, I don't need you to give me an apartment. Pay me what I'm worth. I can find my own apartment if you pay me halfway decent.
And most people don't even want an apartment. They want a family who are teachers.
Yeah, they want a house.
Like be in the community for a while and they love the area usually.
And once again, that's one of the ways that people build the most wealth is having a home, having a property. Well, I'm just gonna say owning property. Like that's one of the best and easiest ways to build wealth. And if we can't do that, if we shut out because we're not getting paid enough, we're gonna have to make some shake. Like that's really my main thing. So
Well, here's the last thing I'll say about this. Like going back to the self wealth, quiet luxury topic. If anything, I hope that that relieves pressure for people to feel like they gotta always have Instagram clothes. Like I hope that it allows us to, as a community, like not have to focus so much on like having a certain logo, a certain brand, a certain type of look, and instead be able to like invest more of our funds into, things that actually generate wealth long term.
I agree, and I think what one of the cool things about this quiet luxury thing is that you can really go to Walmart and get the same thing, like a similar looking thing. You can go to H&M and get a similar looking
Yep.
thing. So
just not gonna be as soft
It's not.
and comfortable.
It's not.
It's gonna be dry. It's probably it might get a rash. Like,
But you can have the look.
Yeah, once you take the picture for the gram, that's it. Like, they might
yeah,
see you out.
wear it a couple times, and then it's gonna be all fucked up. Still ain't gonna
Actually,
be the same.
skip the Walmart ones. Go to Target. You can get some good stuff at Target. Good
Mm.
clothes at
Now,
Target.
women got good clothes at Target.
Go to H&M, Zara.
Yeah, all that. But women clothes at Target is cool, but like men's clothes, it'd be like, I don't know.
It's like dad clothes.
Yeah, like it's just like cargo shorts and Henleys and shit. Like, fucking wear.
It's always a
I'm
Henley.
not wearing no fucking
Always.
Henley. But yeah, I think we could go ahead and wrap it up here, get on up out of here. But first, let's go ahead and get to some highlights. So, do y'all have anything that y'all want to highlight this week?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and highlight Gunna, my boy. He came in hard. A Gift and a Curse. It had 15 tracks. And basically, I feel like this was a message to all the people who've been saying he's a rat and how he was saying yes ma'am on the stand next to the judge. And my boy, he came back with some hard though. Let me look at the bio. Let me see what he's saying about this. He said, throughout A Gift and a Curse, Gunna makes it a point to address his predicament head on, offering a perspective as unique as the circumstances. A defiant superstar, he reintroduced he reintroduced himself to his fans and haters alike on the simmering back at it, falling it swiftly with a confident and confrontational back to the moon. He shakes his head and strikes his shoulders over what's changed with I don't know no more, while returning to the lavish normalcy of his pre-arrest lifestyle via Rodeo Drive and P. Angels. For the grand finale, all right, he sees the path forward clearer than ever, shouting out YSL amid hopeful chorus. So
Okay.
he came out with a hit. He did his thing on this. Did y'all hear it or?
I haven't heard it yet. It's on my list though.
Never heard it yet. I mean, I heard the single. Like he was spitting. But I feel like he was trying too hard though. Like he was trying too hard to rap. Like it was very.
You don't think he just mad
But it didn't.
or upset? Like that's why he sounded like
It
that?
didn't feel like anger to me. It felt like desperation. Like I gotta prove to these niggas I can really spit. Like, which one did I heard? I heard "Back to the Moon." I just felt like he was.
I don't think he sound like that.
It just wasn't no like.
I feel like he sound.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go get your point.
No, I was gonna say like it just sounded like he was trying to prove to niggas that he can rap, that he got flows, that he can do this thing. Like I'm saying, like the vocally, like just the cadence of how he was rapping, like it wasn't no swag to it. It was just like bars, and that's not what I'm used to with Gunna. I'm used to like him swagging it out, and he just was just like, "I'm a rap, like I got something to say," which is cool, I guess. Anyway, though,
Yeah. Okay.
uh,
I mean, I feel like due to the predicament though, like he does have something to say. He is trying to say something. He is trying to speak to the audience because a lot of people are pointing a finger at him. He do have a lot of hateful comments. So it is like when you drop after a situation like this, you want to answer all the people's questions. Because if you don't, you just try to ignore it. It's not gonna it's not gonna stop anything at bay. Like it's not gonna solve your problem. And I feel like for the level he's trying to get to and get back where he was, he had to answer those questions, like from public opinion. So I feel like that was necessary. And the way he's rapping, when you said that, I don't think he sounds desperate at all, because I feel like he's already well off with it with his music and everything. I think he's rapping like all these niggas was my friends and we were buddy buddy, like right, like not even a year ago, like shaking hands, going place to place in the same circle, saying you love me, you my brother, all that, and then all of a sudden you just switched up on like very quickly, and now you're publicly dissing my name. Like all these people, I feel like that's the position he's speaking from right now. He's speaking from a hurt place, and like he's speaking like factual things and how he's feeling at the moment. I don't think he's trying hard. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah, maybe desperation was the wrong word. I think maybe like a sense of urgency. Like it's just like the way he rapping fast, and it's like he not really taking time to breathe and swag out the music. Like it just raps from just that one song I heard. I got to hear the whole album, but yeah, I felt like he was just
Yeah, he got some swaggy songs on there. He got some for you.
okay. I'm gonna check that out. Jermaine, you got something for us this week that you want to highlight?
I do. So, um, ENNY just released a new EP. ENNY, if you haven't heard of her before, she's a rapper from the UK. She's super dope. The EP is called We Go Again, and they're like no skips on this. And I think she does a really good. It actually came out actually like 2 months ago. I'm a little late to it, but I think she does a really good job of making music that like it has a depth to it, but it's also not preachy at the same time. Like I don't feel like I'm being talked down to, but you also feel, like there's some substance to what she has to say. And the beats are good. It's actually like listenable. I think sometimes some people struggle to make music that has meaning and that you actually want to play. And so this has been on repeat for me a lot lately.
Okay, super dope. I'm gonna check that out. I heard of her like maybe a year or two ago when she dropped that song with Georgia Smith called "Pang
Mm-hmm.
Black Girls," I think.
Yep.
So that was a dope record. So I definitely gotta check that out. But for me, let me highlight Kari Faux. I think that's how you say it. Kari KARI Faux FAUX, and she has a song with Big KRIT that's super dope. The song is called "Turning Heads." I don't know, it's just a real dope vibe. Like it's just you feel I can't even really explain it. Because I heard it when I was listening to one of my favorite people that do chopped and screwed music, and he was doing a mix, and he had chopped this one, and like that shit was jamming, chopped and screwed, and it's jamming regularly.
You still do that?
Yeah, I love
You
chopping.
still chop and skill your music?
Now I was listening to somebody doing it. I don't do it, but I listen to people that do it. But yeah, like
Why'd you stop?
I just don't have no. I need to get some turntables if I want to really do that shit. Like I need to get the real shit versus like clicking my mouse. But yeah, so check out that Kari Faux with Big KRIT, Turn the Heads. Check out that ENNY, check out that Gunna. Other than that, man, thank you for listening. If you got this far, this has been the Friends Podcast, and we out. Peace out.
Peace.
Love.